Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tyler's Tiger Talk. So LSU gets a huge win at Missouri. Jayden Daniels continues to show why he should be one of the front runners for the Heisman Trophy, and defense still sucks. So there's that for defense. You want to see improvement, and you did a little bit in the second half, but it still sucks. Missouri really did whatever they want, throwing the ball, running the ball, and not much improvement on defense. The defense made big plays at the end, which really helped, especially that pick six from Major Burns. Harold Perkins had a interception as well in the first half. So you had plays like that, but still, just Missouri putting 39 points on you is just embarrassing. This LSU team would be unstoppable if they had an average defense, even an average defense, and no one's beating this LSU team right now. Obviously, you still have that big loss at Ole Miss that continues to weigh on you, especially now that you probably don't have any chance of getting in the college football playoff. And we're going to talk about that later in the season, LSU's chances at that, because I know there was lots of talk of it last year. If you remember, a two-loss LSU team later in the season last year, and there was talks of if LSU wins the SEC championship and beats Georgia, why wouldn't they be allowed to be in the college football playoff? And obviously, after losing to Texas A&M, then you had no chance at all. And then obviously you ended up still losing to Georgia. But so that's talk for later in the season. LSU still obviously has to win out. Ole Miss has to lose a game. LSU still has to go and beat Alabama, the leader in the West right now. So you still got so many obstacles. And if LSU wants to focus on anything right now, it's getting to the SEC championship, beating Auburn, beating Alabama, beating Florida, Texas A&M, all those teams, you still are losable games for you. Auburn, this upcoming game, still a losable game. They're not that great, but as you can see with LSU's defense, any team can beat you really right now. Offense just continues to be insane. Watching Jayden Daniels on Saturday throw to Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, or run it himself, it's just the most exciting thing you've seen since Joe Burrow. And right now, I don't believe Jayden Daniels obviously is as good of a quarterback as Joe Burrow was, but he's getting there. And at least in my opinion, he's more exciting than Joe Burrow. I love watching Jayden Daniels run the ball when a play gets blown up. And instead of taking a sack, he runs it for 20 yards or so. That 1st and 20, when the play looked like it was dead, he ran it 20 yards and picked up a first down. He had a huge rushing touchdown when the play looked like it was being. I mean, the dude is insane. 130 rushing yards as a quarterback, and on top of that, throwing for 259 yards. A couple touchdowns being taken away from you, and you still had 5 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. I mean, Jayden Daniels is insane. In my opinion, he should be the front runner right now on top, ahead of Caleb Williams. He's got better stats than Caleb Williams, ahead of Drake May. The things that he's doing, like, even though he lost to Ole Miss, he still kept you in that game. Even though LSU lost to Ole Miss, Jayden Daniels still kept you in the game. He's the only reason you were in that game. He's the only reason you beat Missouri. He is insane. In the steps and leaps and bounds he's taken from last year to this year is insane. I know there was so much talk, especially at the beginning of this season, of putting in Nussmeier. And I emphasize again and again why Jayden Daniels is better and why they have him in. And now he continues to show that. And there's no talk. The people who were talking about taking Daniels out are now the people who are posting on Twitter and Facebook on why he should be a Heisman frontrunner. And it's hilarious to me, and it's hypocritical because I have backed Jayden Daniels for 2 years now. And people are finally seeing I saw his potential. It was like with what was Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow had to have a year to where he had an average year, in his second year had to be really good. Obviously, Jayden Daniels can't get that undefeated season year because of his defense, and it's sad that he can't get that because he is so good, and he's still going to go down as an LSU legend. But just imagine if your defense was average or good, you'd probably have another undefeated season and win a national championship because Jayden Daniels is just that good. He's just that good. There's no flaws really in his game anymore. You could talk about his flaws last year and in the beginning of this season at Florida State, but you can't talk about him anymore because there's nothing there. Obviously, he's still got to make certain throws. There's small things here and there, reading plays, but he's close to perfect. What was his QBR rating? 97.1. Missouri played some good defense at times, and they played for sure good offense. Not as good an offense as the number shows because with LSU's defense being so bad, those numbers are kind of inflated. But Jayden Daniels just looks so good, and he continues to keep these games alive when they really shouldn't be. He's just so excellent with his throwing and his running. And Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas are just continue to be the receivers you need. Malik Neighbors had a drop. I want to say Brian Thomas may have had a drop, but they continue to be excellent. Malik Neighbors 146 yards on the ground, 1 TD. Brian Thomas had a TD, 66 yards. Mason Taylor TD. Kyron Lacey 20 yard. He had a 20-yard big play. And he continues, even though Kyron Lacey, has those bad drops, he continues to be he continues to get better. He's really good at laying out blocks. And I can see him in the future being a really good receiver for LSU because when he does get that ball, when he does make that catch, he's really, really good at making guys miss. I watched pretty much all film today from that game on Saturday, and I just watched him lay out some nice blocks, and that 20-yard reception he made some guys miss, and it was fun to watch. But if he can get his hands on the ball more and make those catches, he's another receiver that makes defenses, have to keep their eyes on him even more. And that's annoying because you already got Brian Thomas and Neighbors to worry about, and having to worry about Kyron Lacey just makes it more annoying for those other teams and their defenses. Like I said, defense kind of showed up a little bit in the second half, making a couple good stops. That interception late in the game. Got some pressure later in the game as well. How many sacks? Let's see how many sacks the defense had. I want to say 2. Mason Smith had a sack. 2 total sacks, and Swinson had a sack. This defense is just still finding its ways. You continue to see so many looks out of our defense, and you just don't know really. It's still the defense is finding their way after 6 games. This defense really hasn't found its thing. I mean, we play with so much cushion, and I just don't understand why. I've said it. I've said if we're gonna get beaten no matter what, we might as well get beat blitzing. Like just play man coverage through and through and blitz the fuck out of everyone. Because that's the only thing that's really going to work for you. And when you did do that in this game, it did work for you. You did have some stops of when you got in, what's his name's face? Cook? Is it Cook? Yeah, Brady Cook. When you got in Brady Cook's face, he missed some throws. It was like a third down. I can't remember if it was 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, whatever. But you brought 0 blitz. You blitzed everybody. And he wasn't able to make his throw to his best receiver because you blitzed everybody. I think LSU should blitz a lot more than they are, because if that is the best part of your awful defense, use it. Blitz your best blitzers. whether it's Wingo and Jordan Jefferson and you have Womack or whoever on the edge, just blitz the fuck out of him, right? Well, what are they going to be able to do if you got guys on his face? And when you are blitzing, do not give the quarterback any cushion on the edges to make plays with his feet, because you saw LSU trying to almost pinch the defensive line and the D line and blitz that way. And then when you did that, when you were unsuccessful with the blitz, it gave Cook some room on the edge to run around. You don't want that to happen. You want to give the quarterback as least amount of room on the edges, because if he has to make a play and go inside, most of the time quarterbacks, when they try to go inside to run out of the pocket, when they have to go through an A gap or whatever, it's unsuccessful for them. They're going to get sacked up. A D line going to get off his block and make a play, hopefully, because LSU has had some trouble with that. But I'd like to see, when we're blitzing, the edge rushers more off to the edge than they are right now. I watch a guy, I forget it's Powerhouse LSU. I forget his name. He's one of the only LSU analysts I watch, but he breaks down film, and I think he's incredible at what he does. He's so entertaining as far as breaking down LSU's film. He knows what he's talking about. I think it's Powerhouse Carter, but I love watching his videos and his highlight breakdown, and because he's almost teaching me, and I also get to see film and other people's opinions, and I think it's great to see what other people are saying that I'm saying. Because one thing he talked about was the zero blitz, because he was breaking down a play of when LSU brought all the blitzers, and it was successful. And great analysts breaking down the film. But yeah, I watched that video today, and I saw so much on what the defense can fix that they're not fixing. And it's just like you're so close to finding something. But yeah, so far, because you're still giving up so many yards on defense. 411 passing yards, 116 rushing. The defense is just bad, and I think you know that now. Like, obviously, a week ago you knew that, and a week before you knew that, but now you know that every game is going to be a shootout, because you thought maybe the defense can get better, maybe it can get better. No, it's your offense is just going to have to carry, and that's that now. Your offense is just going to have to carry every single game, and it sucks. But you got Jayden Daniels, you got a potential Heisman Trophy winner leading your offense. You got Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, future NFLers. You got Logan Diggs, who's been just incredible. 134 yards on the ground, 5.6 average, 1 touchdown. He had that big breakout run, and I would love to see him have more breakout runs like that, because they're entertaining to watch. But if he can just pick up a little more speed, that run that he had, he just had a little more speed. That's a touchdown right there. LSU, missed potential finishing drives from holdings, taking field goals instead of touchdowns because of holding, stuff like that. Here, let me fix this real quick. Like to keep a reminder of when the next game is. But yeah, if you had a couple drives where you had potential touchdowns and you had to take field goals. I mean, the margin would have been even bigger between LSU and Missouri. That score would have even been more lopsided if you finished some of your drives. You had a missed field goal. You had a touchdown called back because of holding. Just stuff like that you can fix on offense. Obviously, the offense is close to perfect. The offensive line continues to shine for Jayden Daniels and Logan Diggs with the running game. And you love to see it. Just really good play calling on the offensive side. It's really, really fun to watch, and it's what this LSU fan base has wanted for a while. And just when you thought LSU's offense was going to have to go slow and be slow, and at times they still are, but now it's picking up with going vertical to Malik or Brian Thomas Jr. Just incredible to watch. These guys are really, really good. That long ball that Jayden had to BTJ was really, really good. That one where Brian Thomas just beat the guy who was covering him, and it was like in the middle of the end zone. Perfect. Excuse me, perfect dime by Jayden Daniels to get that out there. And one of his criticisms is not throwing the deep ball or not being able to throw the deep ball, and it's just beautiful every time he throws it. I mean, after he hurt his ribs, which was the late hit they didn't call, he can still continue to shine. Show resiliency, calmness. He just has a passion. Excuse me. Just has a passion for this game, and he's so good. And it's so fun seeing a quarterback at LSU who can get hurt like that, and at times that can discourage you. But he got hurt and came back and won this game for LSU and drove downfield for LSU and continued to take hits after hurting his ribs. He's just an entertaining player all around, and obviously you have Joe Burrow up there as the best LSU quarterback of all time. But you finally see, a couple years later, you finally see a quarterback just as good as Joe Burrow. And at the end of the year, whether Jayden wins a Heisman or not, he's going to go to the NFL, and I think he's going to be successful in the NFL because his confidence has soared up. He went from being a quarterback who probably is going to be a bench warmer in the NFL to now could be a potential starter because of his game and the way he makes guys miss. Because he's making guys like this miss in college. He can do the same thing in the NFL. Yeah, it's going to be less successful, but he can still do it because he's just got the shiftiness. He's a lot like Lamar Jackson. He when he takes that ball and he's in open field, he's really, really good at making guys miss. And now that he's got the throwing element down of his game and the knowledge, he's going to be really good in the NFL. And you'll see him, maybe not for the first year or two, but you're going to see him in the NFL and you're going to see him shine. And I'm excited. I'm glad we can claim him as our own and have another quarterback sending off to the NFL. I don't know what ensues LSU for the end of the year, what's to ensue, but if they how far they get, if they get to an SEC championship, if they get to a really good bowl game, or something crazy happens and they get to the college football playoffs, I don't know, but I'm glad that we have a quarterback like Jayden Daniels to lead the team. LSU has had some good quarterbacks throughout the years. I really like Zach Mettenberger and even Danny Etling. It sucks to see that they didn't have offenses like this where mainly focus on throwing the ball. You had Les Miles for years and years. He never got fired, and he never changed anything on offense. So it sucks like those quarterbacks didn't get more potential to throw because they would have been just as good. But you finally see LSU getting these good quarterbacks, because for years and years you didn't really see as much quarterback play. Now with Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels, you're seeing a lot of quarterback play. And now, what's his name at Texas A&M? I can't think of his name. Ooh, this is annoying. Texas A&M. Why can't I think of his name? Give me a second. It's gonna bother me if I don't find it. Max Johnson. I couldn't think of Max Johnson's name. And even though he left and went to Texas A&M, and he's a starter now, he went to LSU, and he's really he's a successful quarterback there. I mean, despite the loss to Alabama, he's a good quarterback. So you're seeing this almost trend with LSU of finding good quarterbacks. Now you got Nussmeier next year, and I'm excited to see what he can do because he's a baller. I mean, the dude can throw. He's scary when it comes to turnovers, but he can throw. He has an arm. He's a lot like Josh Allen. You know, Josh Allen's worst element of his game is throwing interceptions and turning the ball over, but he can ball. I mean, he can throw those deep passes a lot like Nussmeier. So you get to see that next year. LSU's trend of good quarterbacks is finally here, where you have a good quarterback almost every year. I mean, it hasn't been like that until Joe Burrow came. So it's fine. We finally, as LSU fans, get to see good quarterback play almost every year now, hopefully. Let's see. For Auburn, like I said, LSU has one of the best offenses in the country right now, if not the best. Like USC, USC has a good quarterback, obviously, but they have a really good offense. And like USC, LSU has a bad defense. USC has a bad defense. LSU has a bad defense. And I tweeted that the other day. I was with the handshake emoji. LSU's defense, USC defense, because it's similar circumstances to where you have really good offenses, but you can't find anything on defense. And every LSU game here on out is just going to be, besides like your games like Army and stuff like that, just going to be really close games because the only thing that's going to be going on for you is your offense. So I haven't watched much Auburn football. I can't tell you much about Auburn. I know at least a bit about Auburn than I do any other team in the SEC, but I'm going to try to watch some Auburn film and get a feel for them and see what I think more. But it's a simple recipe now that you know how bad LSU's defense is. LSU will throw for 300, 400 yards on Auburn, run for 100 something, 200 yards on Auburn, whatever, right? But Auburn is going to do just the same to LSU. And it's not because Auburn's offense is good. It's because LSU's defense is terrible. And it sucks to see that because LSU's offense is not getting as much love because of that. But LSU can go throw for the same amount of yards on a good defense as a okay offense can do on LSU's terrible defense, if that makes sense. So it doesn't get as much love. Like, if you think about the best defense in college football, and I couldn't tell you, Oklahoma. Let's say Oklahoma has a really good defense. So let's say LSU plays Oklahoma. I don't know. They probably won't this year. LSU can go. LSU's offense is so good, and they could throw for 400 yards and rush for, let's say, 200, 150 yards on Oklahoma. And that's really good, but they're not going to get that approval from anybody because Oklahoma's going to do the same to LSU because their defense is so bad. So LSU's offense just gets kind of blurred out because the defense is so bad. I think this team would be so incredibly good if the defense was just average. Just average, but they're so terrible and they're so awful. We have the worst defense in college football right now. And we're still winning games, and it's just surprising to me. And I just love the offense. I'm going to stop yapping now. I'm going to end the video here. Tell me what you guys think. Comment down below. Score prediction for this weekend. What do you think is going to happen? I'm going to talk about this game more on Wednesday. And speaking of that, I uploaded a video Thursday of last week. So I'm going to make a video either Wednesday or Thursday this week. I usually upload Wednesday or Thursday. I uploaded a video Thursday of last week and realized I had it private this whole time on Sunday. So I was like, I'm not going to upload that video anymore because we already played Missouri. But So that's why you didn't see a video last week. Somehow I guess I pressed private and didn't realize. So, um, yeah. So comment what you think. Will LSU's defense step up more in Auburn versus Auburn? You know, they're at home. Do you think LSU should blitz more? Give less cushion? Tell me what you think. I think we should blitz more. And if we're not going to blitz more, at least show less cushion on the defensive side, because if you know they're going to score on you no matter what, you might as well bring more pressure to them. That's my opinion. Thank you guys for watching. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, and as always, go Tigers.